no damage, and Muffin Trader. Welcome back to the Heroes Lounge Nexus Rumble. I'm Karis, and joining me once again, it's...
Transparent. Yes, it is me, Transparent. And we are here with a fantastic series. It is the upper series of our Nexus Rumble, and we have Food for Frobius against Out of Position Squad, Karis. Do you know the importance of this matchup here?
Oh, I'm sure you're going to tell me and the viewers at the same time.
I am indeed. Now, these two teams played in round 1 of Season 13, and they both felt like it was a good challenge for them. But Out of Position Squad came on top, even after Food for Frobius were a little bit ahead in most of the matches. So they're both sort of feeling like, oh, maybe we want to reprove ourselves. And this is not just for the pride of staying as the Nexus Rumble champions for Food for Frobius. They want to prove themselves to Out of Position Squad that they can beat them, and they will beat them. And they're going to stay champions of the Nexus Rumble. And, you know, Electrix, the captain of our Position Squad, has sort of been gloating a little bit that, you know, they're going to take them down. So both teams really are feeling hype, really feeling ready to go into this best of 3 series in the Nexus Rumble.
Yeah, absolutely they are. Well, whilst the teams get set up, we've got some map bans already in from these two teams. So let's take a look at those. So we can see here that Alterac Pass, which that we just saw in the first Nexus Rumble, has been banned by Food for Frobius, along with Volskaya Foundry. And their opponents, Out of Position Squad, have banned Dragonshire and Braxis. So the two maps we saw in Nexus Rumble lower bracket are not going to be here in the upper Rumble. So interesting bans, but we are going to go to Cursed Hollow for game number 1 in this best of 3 Nexus Rumble.
Yeah, and it's Cursed Hollow. Cursed Hollow being such a middle of the road map. It's very wide, very open, and there's plenty to do on it. But it sort of has a slow pace to it. You know, the curse, the full effect of the objective doesn't come in until you get 3 channels of those precious tributes. So both teams might be looking to sort of have something that comes online at level 10, or maybe something that comes online a little bit later if they can defend nicely. So could be some interesting picks here for both teams. And I'm sure they're going to be thinking about what are the particular strategies that they've executed in the past. Just looking at the maps that they played in the beginning of the season, they played Dragonshire, Infernal, and Alterac. So 2 of those banned out as well this time. So it's going to be a brand new series for both of these teams here in this sort of rivalry that they have.
Yeah, absolutely. And the teams are definitely going to be coming to this with their full energy, coming into this rivalry, as you say. So, I mean, Cursed Hollow, what do we expect to be going on here on Cursed Hollow?
I think there's going to be some camp clear stuff going on, as well as possibly Diablo. I'm a big fan of Diablo here on this map. There's a lot of walls to get those crucial wall stuns on, but you can't discount the boss pressure as well. If you've got a good team to get bosses, you can quickly race them down and maybe contest your opponents. Something that Fizz is a big fan of as well is Falstad, and Falstad's Gust can be all important for stealing those bosses, so watch out for that being a hotly contested pick as well.
Yeah, and of course, Fizz is also known for his Medivh, as implied by his name. So we will see a lot of hotly contested picks, I think, in this game number 1, in this best of 3. So when the draft kicks off in just a few minutes, we will have the betting available as well, so you'll be able to bet on who you think will win this game number 1, and it'll be !bet A and the number for the team on the left, Food for Frobius, !bet B and a number for the team on the right, Out of Position Squad.
Once again, these are 2 top Division 2 teams, so there is no sort of skill level difference. Well, graft skill level difference that we saw between maybe the Division 6 and Division 7 teams of the lower Rumbles. No, these two teams are fighting out already at the top of Division 2 right now. They're trying to make their mark. They're equal on wins, map wins, but not quite on map score because of that crucial map between them, that match between them at the start of the season. So these teams really want to prove themselves once again. Can through the Frobius get that victory that they want? Can Out of Position Squad say that they're the best? But we're ready, and we're going to go into the draft on Cursed Hollow.
Let's head into the draft on Cursed Hollow. Yeah, absolutely. These teams are going to be feeling the pressure. And the Raven Lord is going to turn that pressure up even more as we head onto Cursed Hollow, where he awaits the teams to gather tribute to him and grants a curse to the first to collect 3 tributes. So, is this going to be kind of macro bans, or is it going to be meta bans, or is it going to be target bans here in the first banning phase? Well,
so
that answers that question.
So Fizz has the Fizz factor, where he plays these unusual heroes that are so annoying to deal with that you have to ban out. I think some teams feel like they can deal with Medivh, but Medivh Protect Shield just sort of disables a lot of compositions. And good to get rid of Medivh if you're against Fizz. Sensible stuff here from Out of Position Squad. Whereas on the side of Frobius, they've got a little bit more trouble what they're going to ban. And they're going to ban out the Mei. They might choose to ban out the Diva later on. The Mei is, once again, a little bit of a focus pick, because there was something that Electrics picked up a lot against them in their earlier clash in the main season.
Yeah, so definitely kind of target banning here so far in the first couple of bans. Of course, still 2 more bans left, and there goes the Anna. Very meta healer, but is it also a strong pick for food for Frobius?
Yes, yeah. I mean, I've played against Jam in just some customs, and even in the seasons beforehand, she does not miss those sleep darts. You know, there is nothing about it. I've looked at the stats as well. To compare my stats with Jam's is, on average, she does 15k more healing on Anna than I do. And I'm a fairly good support player, I like to think, but 15k is a lot. But we see Yrel banned out and Diva let through, and that is the first pickup for Oops.
Yeah, Ducastu on the Diva there. Diva is still very strong hero at the moment. You know, she's had a touch of nerfs, but it's definitely still a force to be reckoned with. And that's something that I guess Food for Frobius have to have answers to, right? She's just going to be continuously putting pressure, and of course the threat of bomb when she's charged up.
Especially when you ban out the Yrel, you know, they must have an idea of what they want to do in that off lane, because if you've banned out the Yrel, you know that Diva's going to be picked up early on in this draft. You're probably not thinking they're going to... No, you're probably thinking they are going to first pick it, so they must have a plan for it, and they're saving that for the later half of the draft, as Garrosh and Rhaegar have been picked up by Out of Position Squad. The Garrosh, maybe they're going to go for the old Theramore composition combo, which I would like to see here on the Nexus Rumble.
What is the old Theramore combo? Is it... What is it?
So the Theramore combo is Garrosh throwing the Diva bomb into the enemy team. It's a bit of a WoW reference because Garrosh had a mana bomb explode underneath Theramore, sort of the mage place, I believe, in World of Warcraft. So yeah, Garrosh was the one who produced that bomb and planted it. So Garrosh throwing a bomb and blowing things up, that's the Theramore combo, and it can be done with Garrosh and Diva.
Yeah, that is old school to throw the bomb in. But of course, there are ways you can deal with that. One way is you have a lot of knockback from ETC to knock the bomb away. You have the gust from Falstad here as well, which will push the bomb away, and of course push Garrosh away in the process. So
yeah, I think it's quite bold to pick the Garrosh into the ETC. It's quite regarded that ETC does very well into Garrosh, being able to slide away at opportunities and use that mic check to bounce Garrosh away out of any sort of trouble of getting throws. But yeah, so I think it's going to be tough for Electrics in this sort of matchup of tanks. But right now, Frobius have excelled in the draft already, picking up Falstad Greymane, and now Stukov, which Jam has been showing off every week almost in the Nexus Rumble. But the Greymane's going to be on camp duty, I think, almost all the time here on Cursed Hollow.
Yeah, I think that's going to be the name of the game, definitely from Greymane, and possibly Falstad as well, is getting those camps picked up. Cassia and Sylvanas rounding off the draft for Oops. So a kind of well-rounded draft from them. No real surprises there. I'm assuming that's Ancestral Healing, but they could even go into Bloodlust from that comp.
Yeah, absolutely. And D.Va does a lot of auto attack damage, so I'd like to see a Bloodlusted D.Va. It would be quite entertaining. So, and that with the Sylvanas and Cassia could work, but probably Ancestral Healing. And it's rounded off nicely for Frobius by a Rexar. So, looking to get that a little bit stuns, additional follow-up. It's going to be a lot of, general annoyance from Frobius, and they've done a cheeky swap where they've put Fizz now onto the Falstad and Sidonian onto the Greymane. So whether they will take this game number one, we'll have to wait and see. Now, at this point, we usually discuss who we're going to bet on.
Well, the betting wasn't opened in a timely manner, but it is now open, so you can now choose who you're going to bet on.
Yes, and the usual other partner of the Nexus Rumble would say any composition with the Sylvanas is one I'm going to bet on. But for me, that's not the case. And I really like Frobius' draft, especially as they have that ETC against Garrosh. How about you, Karis?
I'm not so sure. You know, ETC's been nerfed quite hard by that armor reduction on his trait in the last week or so. And I think he might really feel the pressure of Sylvanas and Cassia on him all game. But, of course, we'll have to wait and see what happens as we head into number one. And on the left, in blue, we have Food for Frobius with Sidonian on the Greymane, with Sunny on the ITC, with Fiziv on Falstad, and Tankfly, Bosswalk, Jam, Nitty Gritty. You're listening to the boy for the Big Bad City. It's Jam and Hat on the remaining Stukov and Rexar.
Now, I'm not even sure how I follow an introduction like that, but we do have on the right-hand side, on the red team, the challengers, the one who wants to take down Frobius. We have the red team. It is out of position squad. We've got Electrus on Garrosh, Artanis on Rhaegar, Dukatsu on D.Va, Der Kaiser on Sylvanas, and Murmur on the Cassia.
Straight away, both teams want to brawl in that mid lane, and they are heading up there. Fizz going for his signature Seasoned Marksman on the Falstad. You see a lot of players more commonly taking the Wingman on Falstad for that bribe of the camps, but Fizz likes to go for that Seasoned Marksman, get those stacks up and running, give him a lot of late game damage potential with those auto attacks, and particularly against Garrosh, those auto attacks potentially with the Giant Killer at 13 could be devastating.
Yeah, meanwhile, we saw a little bit of a pressure onto Der Kaiser in the sort of lower half of the mid lane with just Rexar and Falstad. So that's a nice little bit from them. And speaking of quests, not just Seasoned Marksman on the side of Frobius, but we also got the Sylvanas with Unfurling Shadows on level 1. So looking to get a little bit of late game damage here from the Sylvanas to put pressure on that squishier ETC, as you discussed earlier.
Yeah, I think that's something that ETC's actually got to watch out for, because if you're used to playing ETC, you know, old school, the difference between 25 armor and 20 armor is a big difference. It sounds like just 5 armor, but you know, it's a more than 5% difference because of the way that kind of armor stacks. So you're looking at something like an 8% difference, which is like a 2-level difference effectively in increased damage taken. But Garrosh is the one taking a lot of damage here. Sidonian and Jam are chasing. They want to finish off Electrics, but look at that healing that comes out from Rhaegar, but it's not enough, and Garrosh will eventually fall.
Yeah, and Sonic here with a follow-up stun as well on Sylvanas, looping around the top. Beautiful stuff here from Frobius. A strong outcome. And the body blocks accidentally from D.Va, blocking in Murmur, but Dukatsu is still putting out a lot of damage onto this 4-man as well. And the stun comes out from Dukatsu, body blocked by Sonny as well, and they're going to go down again. That's 3 kills to nothing for Frobius. They're doing a fantastic show, showing that they really want to avenge their earlier loss in the season.
Yeah, looking really, really strong so far. I love the engages and the coordination they have on following up on those targets, and they just managed to put so much pressure. But that's a throw onto Jam from the Garrosh. Sunny comes in with a slide. This might have saved the Stukov from almost certain death. Electrix follows though and will secure the kill, and in fact Sunny, who came in to try and help out, might have to get out of here sharpish because they're going to take a lot of damage from Cassia.
Yeah, that is one of the dangers of Stukov. You are immobile, and so as soon as you put that E down, Garrosh is going to be looking out to get that throw on you. So well played here from Out of Position Squad, sort of almost nullifying the XP advantage that Frobius had from those early 3 kills.
Yep, and now we see Out of Position Squad going to get their Bruiser Camp in the mid lane as well. So bearing in mind that blue Bruiser Camp has already been and gone, this will be a Bruiser Camp advantage in the mid lane, but of course, in the top lane, it's a Siege Camp advantage for Food for Frobius.
Yeah, and they're still looking to put the pressure on Electrics. He's getting squishier and squishier, but he's trying his best with the armor from Garrosh. The Jam able to get that channel. Riskily done by Artanis, trying to interrupt it with an Earth Totem, but not quite there. And we just see sort of the globals staying out in the back. D.Va staying top to clear it. So patiently played here from Out of Position Squad, trying to maybe for level 10 when they can get a few crucial heroics.
Yeah, absolutely, and they currently both teams are going to play fairly safe, as you say, but you know they have been quite aggressive in their kind of movements, attempted ganks. It's 3 kills to 1. I mean, bear in mind, you know, in the last game in the lower series, we saw it go a long time before first blood, and even then after that, it was a long time before there were any follow-up kills. So these teams are playing, you know, they are managing to get the kills. They are trying to punish anyone who's even slightly out of position. And that's really nice to see, this kind of aggressive style.
Yeah, you can almost tell that both teams are sort of feeling feisty going into this series. As we go into the second tribute spawning, Jam and Sidonian trying to put a little bit more pressure on Electrics. He is able to rotate and get out safely. Both teams now looking to maybe contest this objective a little bit fairer, as Falstad's behind and D.Va's on their way. What can Food for Frobius do here?
I think they are able to posture for now, and maybe they can pick up this tribute, because Garrosh's going to have to walk a long way in to interrupt that, and that's going to be a lot of damage on Garrosh. There's the cleanse from Rhaegar to keep him alive, but it's not long enough. Here's the bomb from D.Va. That'll zone for a second, but it's not going to kill anybody, and that means they are now just 1 hero down. But they get the bear in response. Misha has been punished.
Yeah, you have to be careful on that Garrosh. You're not invulnerable forever. Well, you're not invulnerable at all, but you do have the armor. But Frobius is falling very low. Obviously, Stukov does have a little bit of sustained healing and trying to keep the players up, but they are falling lower and lower, and the press just coming out from the DPS of our position squad of making this 4v5 look easy for them.
There you go, the Stukov punishing the D.Va though. I mean, that's something that can really punish a D.Va, is having a Stukov silence on the mech, because when she comes out of it, she can't do anything, because of that silence just keeps going and going.
Yeah, and she's being slowed all the time as well by this level 1 reactive ballista spores, just putting a lot of damage out, as if at all, Out of Position Squad group up. But they're now resetting 1 for 1 on the tributes. We will be getting a curse after level 10 now confirmed. So what is the grand plan going into this objective, as level 10 isn't quite there for these teams?
I think both teams may go and contest it. I think one thing that Out of Position Squad learned in that last tribute is they can't come late and then have to send Garrosh in as the solo frontliner to interrupt it, because he will just get punished. Electrics paid for that with their life last time. But if they can get set up in a decent-ish position, they're quite happy to contest even Stevens. But the level 10, it might be here at roughly the same time for both of these teams. Stukov capping in the backline, Greyman's capping in the backline as Stukov steps up to help ETC zone. And that means the second tribute has been picked up by Food for Frobius, whilst Falstad, by the way, was soaking in the bot lane.
Yeah, they did have the additional benefit of it being on their side of the map, and they've prioritized this defensive positioning. It's quite easy to get with the Misha, with the Rexar and ETC, but the throw coming out here from Garrosh with the taunt as well onto Hat, but with the bunny hop from D.Va, it's not enough damage to put a great deal of pressure onto Rexar, but it might have just been a distraction, a little bit of additional pressure onto him to dissuade him from maybe checking this boss, as the rest of our position squad have looked to pick up this boss, and Misha's only just sniffed it out. Frobius looking to put work on theirs while it's taken at the top here.
Yeah, but the thing is, the boss damage that was from Food for Frobius is much faster than the boss damage that came out from Oops, because in reality, they've capped their bosses at the same time, even though, of course, Out of Position Squads started trying the boss a long time before Food for Frobius. So really fast boss damage from Food for Frobius there.
Yeah, and that's the benefit of Falstad in general. When you have an auto attack Falstad, it means you can have that extra auto attack damage on racing on the boss, but will still have a little bit of wave clear and that global pressure that is essential almost on Cursed Hollow.
Now here's an absolutely essential tribute here, because if Out of Position Squad lose this tribute, then they will have a boss pushing on the curse. Now that's a nice bomb onto ETC, who does get hit by the tail end of it. Takes a bit of damage. Falstad flies in looking for an aggressive gust. Garrosh has to press Unstoppable to walk away from there. The Bloodlust is available though. Here it goes. The Bloodlust has been popped now. But immediately ETC gets blown up. Absolutely devastating here. Now Garrosh starts to run. Tries to catch onto Greymane. Throw him away from himself actually, because Electrix was falling pretty low. Der Kaiser starts to chase onto Greymane. But Greymane turns around and says, I want some too. But he's bitten off more than he could chew. And Greymane is the next to fall. It's 2 kills for nothing there in favor of Out of Position Squad.
Yeah, at the very start of that fight, I think Garrosh was having trouble trying to get torn onto the EDC while they're in the Diva Bomb, and they just couldn't quite find the positioning they wanted to, but it proved really useful to hold on to it until that gust came through, and was able to use the Taunt to interrupt Mosh Pit, which would have been fatal for Out of Position Squad. But as things have it, they interrupted it, they got it through, and they now got onto the third tribute for both teams here, and equalized almost in XP as well.
Yep, it is now level 13 comes in for Out of Position Squad. So tell me, Transparent, who do we think has the stronger late game out of these two teams? Because they've got quite different drafts. I mean, you'd think that maybe with this wind tunnel from Falstad at level 20 could be devastating. And of course, Falstad has gone for that Seasoned Marksman, which is just stacking and stacking.
Yeah, the late game Falstad, the wind tunnels have proven game changing in the previous Nexus Rumbles. Just look at any of the VODs for Frobius, and these gusts have just been phenomenal, winning them games off the back of perhaps some incidents in the past. But I think until level 20, I think Out of Position Squad have the better composition, but they just need to be careful. The interrupts coming in here from the back from Falstad. He's looking squishy, but Frobius is able to get that positioning a little bit further forward to maybe interrupt the next altar. And it looks like they might just be giving up. No, jam there, of course, with the long pitch.
Yeah, that is now, here comes Garrosh with a throw onto Misha, but Garrosh had to use his Unstoppable to walk away from that, and they didn't actually even manage to kill Misha, but the Bloodlust has been popped, but they want to chase here into towers. That's going to be a bit difficult, and Diva doesn't have the bomb yet ready, so that's possibly a slightly wasted Bloodlust, but ETC still wants to come in and contest. The Gust is there to interrupt, but there's the taunt onto ETC, but he's still alive, and Garrosh isn't, so Garrosh has paid the price for taunting the ETC, and now ETC steps up, wants to chase onto more.
Yeah, the slows coming out from Rhaegar, trying to escape, trying to get anything away because they know they've lost this fight. Garrosh is not going to be able to be there to help defend, and the curse goes over to Food for Frobius. What are they going to do with this? They've got the siege camp pushing in the top. They've got a wave already pushing in the middle as well, and of course there's no fort here down the bottom. So quickly and decisively, they look like they're going to try and pressure this bottom keep.
Yeah, and they are immediately doing exactly that. Falstad, of course, is able to come in at any moment with that flight. I think they are going to try to go straight for this keep. Now, that's a bit difficult for them because every member of Out of Position Squad is now alive. Yes, the keep is, of course, disabled by the curse. Wow, that's a lot of damage onto Garrosh, and he's been absolutely ruined there by that cursed bullet into damage combo. Came out from the stuns as well. And Stukovic secures the kill. I mean, Garrosh just disappeared there.
Yeah, I mean, that is the crucial thing of Cursed Bullet, but not only that, but the Vigilant Reaction, that rooting from detonating a weighted pustule inside the lurking arm.
Speaking of which...
There we go. We see the value of it again onto the Sylvanas. They need to be so careful of this. Jam is making these combos look so easy. It is not easy to land these combos, but Jam just makes it look seamless.
Brilliant play here from Food for Frobius, and they got themselves a keep, and they got themselves another half level of experience lead. And now, by the way, they're thinking about going for this boss, which is up in 6 seconds, or they might trap it. But they have the Gust, and they have a lot of boss damage, as we mentioned before. So I think they're going to go for this, and I don't think Out of Position Squad are going to be here in time to contest it.
No, especially as Diva is in the bot lane. Diva doesn't have a conventional mount, so she will not be able to rotate it up here. And as soon as Food for Frobius saw Diva in the bot lane, they were so confident getting that boss. So really good heads up play here. Oh, and the Misha sent the boars are out, the slows are on, the the mosh pit trying to get the Garrosh, but ETC now pulled in by the Cassia. She's going to fall low, but the Gust here to peel out the Bloodlust. Beautiful play here, as well as the swipes from Jam. They're trying to chase them, so possibly using everything they can. The slows, but Misha's the only one to fall, and Rhaegar's got no more slows. They're really trying to find the pressure, but it's not going to amount to anything. So unfortunate here from Out of Position Squad, as Frobius get away with just their lives.
And in the meantime, of course, this boss has been pushing in the top lane all throughout that fight, and it's going to start knocking on this keep. Now, I think with the blue team having retreated, they'll be able to clear this boss easily enough. But, of course, the problem is now, in the opposite side of the map, the blue boss is being capped. And when that happens, it's going to be marching straight onto that core. And this is a really dangerous scenario now for the Out of Position Squad, because this boss is going on core. What do they do? Do they take the fight before the boss gets to core and try and catch somebody? Or do they wait until it gets to core and try to defend it with bomb and stuff like that? It's, you know, either way, I think they're under a lot of pressure.
Yep, and you know, the boss won't do a great deal of damage. It's only 30 minutes in, but without a Garrosh, who just keeps you blink and he's gone.
Absolutely, and that was a nice gust from Falstad to set that up, by the way. And of course, that's just Garrosh immediately dead, and with him dead, I don't see how the red team are going to defend this. This seems like it should be game, but everything is still open right now. The Bloodlust is available in 2 seconds. D.Va is going to be back in a second. I think she's going to try and help this. She does have the bomb available, but look how much damage the boss is doing.
Yeah, the shield just dropped as well as this auto attack from Falstad and from Greymane. The core HP is going down, and that is a win here for Food for Frobius in game number 1 of our Nexus Rumble Upper Series.
Fantastic from both of these two teams, but Food for Frobius looking so dominant there in game number 1, in particular at securing those individual kills at the key moments. But I really like their disengage. Anytime there was a threat of a Bloodlust, there was a Gust available, there was the swipes from Stukov as well, and so they seem to have all the answers to all the tools that were in the arsenal of Out of Position Squad.
Yeah, and it just proved really useful. I mean, there was a couple of good fights from Out of Position Squad. They looked like they could make sort of any sort of opportunity, but these roots from Stukov, these sort of follow-ups from ETC, and the cursed bullets just proving too much. And they just weren't able to get a foot back in the door after that first curse. So really nice play here from Food for Frobius.
Yeah, really nice indeed. And I think that showed, as you mentioned, because you mentioned the Falstad being so important to them, and it didn't get banned out, and they made good use of it. In the end, they didn't even get to the late game to go for those wind tunnel plays, but they didn't need to because they were able to get pick after pick and use Gust to disengage when necessary. I really like the ETC play there by Sunny as well. So just kind of really walking that line between kind of being in danger, but also creating space for their team.
Yeah, and that is exactly what a tank should be doing, just sort of posing as a threat, but also doing that crucial peel that everyone really wants. You know, we all want to be peeled by our tank, no matter what time of day. You know, just tank, come peel me. And yeah, to get you away from that scary Garrosh with that Warlord's Challenge, which you know, Electrics did use really well actually in those team fights. That you know, they could have gone either way at some points. It looked quite a decisive win for Food for Frobius, but actually I think they just rode out that momentum really well. And if it swings the other way, I think Out of Position Squad could easily do the same. So we'll have to see on our second map of Tomb of the Spider Queen.
Tomb of the Spider Queen has indeed been selected by Food for Frobius. Let's take a look at the map bans and the map picks as well, and see how we came to this situation. You can see here Alterac Pass and Volsky Foundry were banned by Food for Frobius, who then picked Cursed Hollow. And then, having lost game number 2, Out of Position Squad opted for first pick for game number 2. Wait, having lost game number 1, they opted for first pick for game number 2. And therefore, that gives map pick to Food for Frobius, who picked Tomb of the Spider Queen.
Yeah, Tomb of the Spider Queen, they are no strangers to this at all. Even in the Rumble, they've played here as well. And this is where they sort of like to pull out some other picks. They still pick the Falstad. They still try and use that global advantage, even on a small map like this. And watch out for Hat rotating straight away in the early on series. They do it every time on Tomb of the Spider Queen, so do watch out for that. But we may well see, Sonny on Diablo if we're lucky. And they need to be careful. If I'm out of position squad, I'm thinking, was that Stukov too impactful? Because it's one of those heroes, Karis, that you think, if I'm playing against this, do I need to ban this because it's so annoying?
Yeah, I think there's a lot of... The thing is, there's a lot of bans they've got to deal with. I mean, and I think the challenge is, how are they going to... how they're going to manage which bans are higher priority than others. Obviously, you were talking about, the Falstad. You've got the Medivh that they've got to worry about for Fizz as well. The Diva is going to get prioritized again, I suspect, by Out of Position Squad, who had it in game number one, who had first pick in game number 1 and did the same thing. But they've obviously got to change something given the same draft setup. So it's obviously a very different map, but I think Out of Position Squad need to pull something quite different out of their hats.
Yeah, and we will see what they wish to pick as we go into the draft for game number 2 here.
Okay, we are indeed going into game number 2. So, Tomb of the Spider Queen. I believe we are... Yeah, so we are going to get betting up on screen in just a second. And when we do, you can type !bet A and a number of points to bet on for Frobius if you think they're going to win the game number 2 and thereby the series and retain their title in the Heroes Lounge Nexus Rumble. But if you think Out of Position Squad are going to win game number 2 and take it to a third game, you will type !bet B and the number of points. And you've got 7 minutes to get those bets in.
Yep, 7 minutes to get the bets in on who you think is going to take this game number 2. We've had the Medivh banned out once again. First things first, get that Medivh out of the way. But what are they thinking now? The last time, I can't remember quite what they banned in game number 1, but they might be thinking, that's Stukov. Really annoying. Let's get rid of it. And in my opinion, if anyone can play Stukov, you ban it. That's just if you think right they can play Stukov, we ban it. But no, the ETC ban, so they're really thinking, prioritizing on their tank. It might mean that it's a Garrosh first pick.
It could well be, but again, you don't. I mean, I think they also want to prioritize that Diva, don't they? Because that's something they obviously valued in game number 1. Garrosh, yes, offers one form of engage for them, and that the ETC ban does suggest they don't want that counter again. But I still think there's a lot of tank options open in this day and age. But we might see because they've gone for Joanna, which I have to say I was not expecting. So what do you make of that, Transparent?
I think it just sort of proves that they know what they want a bit here. They want that Johanna to get those rotations going, get it hard, get the gems, get that presence on the map. It doesn't mean that you're going to have a bit of a more passive game, though. It means you can't quite play the aggressive style that you might see with an ETC or a Garrosh, but it does mean you're going to be getting those gems in safely. But it's opened up for Jam and Hat to pick up the Diva and the Stukov.
Yeah, I mean, this is Jam Hat, as I said in game number 1. I mean, but the problem with that for Out of Position Squad is, what we talked about in game number 1, one of the ways you respond to the Diva bomb is you turn on those flailing swipes from Stukov, or you have a Stukov silence on the Diva, stop her from coming out and doing anything after she's in pilot form. But they picked up the Stukov combined with the Diva. I mean, so there's no possibility for Out of Position Squad to respond in that way. So they've gone for the Anna Jaina, and obviously they're looking to do some big nano boost damage, but maybe I'm already a little bit concerned here for Out of Position Squad.
Yeah, although they have just picked up Anna. Now, Anna is one of those heroes that can be seen as incredibly strong at this level and above. That grenade, although it got nerfed by 0.25 seconds, it's still a lot of anti-healing. 100% of your healing in that 0.75 seconds is reduced to nothing, Karis.
It's everyone's favourite two relatives, anti-healing and Uncle Death.
Yeah, and the tank on the side of Frobius, Sonny will not be happy about that, because playing tank into an Ana just means that you really become quite squishy almost. There's not going to be any healing from your healer in your time of need.
I knew Brat gets banned because he would have been a really nice engaged tank onto that Jaina. So obviously, it seems like Activision Squad playing a bit more of a cautious style than perhaps they did in game number 1. And of course, in this map, they don't have to contest objectives in the same discrete time points as you do in Uncursed Hollow. So they can play it a lot more slowly if they want to. Focus on camps, focus on clear, playing it safe. And the response to that from Food for Frobius is saying, we're going to get Diablo and we're going to go in hard. And Ana, you better have some peel for you, because otherwise Diablo is going to slam you in that wall. He's going to flip you over, and then he's going to do it again. And I don't think Ana's going to enjoy that.
Yeah, I mean, this is an aggressive strategy already coming out from the Squad Queen. I was talking about how Joanna's a passive sort of tank, but we see Diablo and Valor. You know, that is they're gonna be positioning a lot on the enemy side of the map. But to counter that, we see Malthael and Cassia. Now, I don't know how Malthael deals well into the Diva. Quite frankly, I think it's a little bit of a losing sort of matchup for the Malthael. Hard to sort of take on. But the Cassia is going to do a lot of work to try and sort of negate that Valor attack damage. So nicely done here from Out of Position Squad, but trying to heal 3 squishies as a Nana is going to be hard. But the Nana Boost Malthael could be something to take down Diablo, if they so wish.
So you think they'll Nana Boost the Malthael? Would you think? Are you thinking Tormented Souls then? Is that the sort of way we think this might go?
I don't think it should go that way, but it's an option that they have. The problem is, obviously, you've got Diva, who could be in pilot form at the time, and you won't get a lot of healing. Diablo is going to be your main source of getting that healing back with the tearing souls off with your Q. But, so I think it's more likely to be last rites, especially as Stukov can't deal with that very well. And you've got Jaina to Nana Boost. So, all in all, unlikely to be Malthael. But it's an option. It's an option, Karis. It gives him extra mobility. It's all good.
Yeah, options are good. I think that they have some ideas there in the Out of Position Squad. I am a little bit concerned, like I was saying, about the peel it might or might not have for Diablo and Diva coming in, and who's going to protect Ana and Jaina in that moment. Well, it's up to Joanna and Cassia in a sense, because Malthael's going to go off and do his own, shenanigans. So at that point, it might be dangerous for Ana, but as you say, they may punish that Diablo if he steps too far forwards. Let's see what happens, though, as we go into number 2 in this best of 3 Nexus Rumble series.
Yes, we have on the left-hand side, we have Food for Frobius, representing the blue team almost. We have Jam on Stukov, Sidonian on Tassadar, Viziv on Vala, Sonny on Diablo, and Hat to try and defend this crown for Food for Frobius on the Diva.
And in the red corner, with Electrics on Joanna, with Der Kaiser on Cassia, with Murmur playing the Malthael, with Dokastu on Jaina, and with Artanis, not on Artanis, but on Ana, they are the Outer Position Squad, the challengers.
Yep, and they are scouting these bushes early. Ana just putting those healing darts into mist as Frobius look to be setting up a different kind of trap here. They've got a different strategy that they're thinking about, maybe rotating down to catch someone out at a later opportunity. But for now, it looks like the rotation is going over to the side of blue team. But yeah, here Murmur at the bottom getting focused here by the Valor and Jam, and they're going to get that early kill on the offlane, and that's going to be a nice boost in experience and gem count as well for them. So putting off the rotational advantage that Out of Position Squad have.
That's gonna. The thing is, when you get ganked like that early game, not only is it the physical effects of the kill, the XP and the positional lead, but it's also the mental effects that will have on Malthael and how he's going to position for the rest of this game, and how much they now have to watch that mini-map and be terrified of those rotations. Diablo stepping up very far forward, wants to zone that rotation away from Out of Position Squad. Sonny's trying to let Out of Position Squad know who's in control of this rotation, but so far they're not too afraid. This is, of course, a 20 soul Diablo, not too strong just yet. Diablo opting for Soul Shield, by the way. So we'll give protection from that spell damage that's going to come out from Jaina. but not going to help so much with the percentage damage from Malthael. That is probably going to be more of the threat to Diablo in the long run.
Yeah, it can be a bit of a boon against Diablo being Malthael, but yeah, the aggressive play from them is showing to be really good. You know, you do have that additional CC to have that control in the rotations, but for now, both teams giving it up to get their Bruiser Camp instead, and Out of Position Squad being the first ones to pick it up. So this is maybe where they want to try and get Johanna turned in, as it's a little bit of an opportunity to have a breather for the tank.
Yeah, but I also think they could use this time to put some pressure on these towers, of course, while knowing, of course, that the player for towers is elsewhere. In this case, was doing the Bruiser Camp. They did manage to get a bit of damage on those towers, but not a great deal. And as you point out, that means they haven't turned in the Gemmies of Electrix, who is now getting slowed with Diablo coming in from the flank, but it's not going to be any threat to the Johanna just yet.
Yeah, and Frobius now have the space. They now have that breathing room that the Bruiser Camp enables you to have. Fizziv using it all as much as they can, just putting this pressure on this mid lane. But it's not getting a lot of damage done on this front foot. You know, you do have the Cassia, and Jaina rotated down bot to catch an extra wave, so no troubles here from both teams. And it's a surprising little amount of gems turned in for both. But we see a gank here on Fizziv. Fizziv is getting chased down by the Malthael as well, from the damage coming out from Jaina. He's falling lower and lower. Cassie trying to finish him off, but the Stukov healing him up. Now Cassie's in trouble. Diablo trying to get a bit of a stun, but the Unstoppable coming out here from the medallion for the Cassia. Oh, both teams trading damage back and forth, but no kills yet in that team fight. So
no, nothing in that fight. Yeah, I mean, it was... Yeah, again, it went back and forth. Really both ways, and it looked like that was going to be a kill on Fizz. I think the lightning strike from Cassia just didn't quite catch onto the Valor, and maybe if that had hit, that would have been a kill. But yeah, very close indeed to securing that kill, but nothing just yet. As you point out, the medallion of Cassia was used, and that's a long cooldown.
Yeah, we see a bit of a gank coming down here, trying to get onto the Diva. The sleep is coming out, but Sonny is here on the Diablo to make sure. Electrix is checking out on this bottom camp. He gets onto the point. This is going to be a crucial fight here. De Kaiser coming in as well to try and fight the Diablo. Tries to shove Johanna off, but he has to... The Electrix now walking away. Malthael, is going to get walled off. You cannot get through that if you're unstoppable. And that's 15 gems dropped. 5 picked up by De Kaiser, but he's going to get flipped by Diablo, falling lower and lower and smacked into that tower. Another 2 kills here for Frobius. Frobius. Nice stuff from them.
Credit to Artanis, though, on the Ana, who did manage to pick up those gemmies and avoid them losing the gemmies. But, of course, as you say, 2 kills and a camp picked up by Frobius. They're 3-0 up now. Not a big difference in XP, though. But, of course, they will give them the space to hand in for the first Web Weavers of the game. That's a slow onto Ana with a bit of follow-up damage from Valor. But nice sleep from Ana. Stops Diablo from following up.
Yeah, Frobius did some quick maths. They had exactly enough gems between the 4 of them turning in, and they've now got this early snowball that perhaps they can try and get, that they use so well on Tomb of Spider Queen, Curse of Toller, but Electra's getting focused down further and further, and not able to keep them alive. Murmur trying to put as much damage, maybe trying to get defense. The Kaiser following up as well, but they've managed to stave off the early attack, and the sleep comes in onto Jam as well. Murmur still trying to get in, but the Diablo pulling over, and the Diva Bomb zoning them out from any sort of escape. It's going to be a Malthael death once again on the side of Out of Position Squad.
So 5 kills to 0 in favor of Food for Frobius so far in this game number 2. You're watching the Heroes Lounge Nexus Rumble, the upper bracket, in which 2 teams here from Division 2 are going head to head. Now Sidonian, is he getting caught with 20 gemmies? That is going to be the end of the Tassadar here. And that is a lot of gemmies on the deck. So nice counter kill there from Out of Position Squad, and immediately gets themselves back into this game, alive and kicking.
Yeah, and they've got a little bit of an opportunity here. The bot lane has been pushed in hard, and getting a 4 in the first objective turn-in is really good. They're now down to 9 gems in total, whereas the opposition, they've got 10 to turn in, 11 to turn in for their wave, and then they'd have another over 30 to have after that. So they're a little bit ahead in this gem count, and on the race to level 10, both teams looking pretty even. Yeah,
let's take a look at those XP numbers and where they come from just now, and you can see that obviously there's a lot more hero kill experience on the side of Food for Frobius, being 5 kills to 1, but there's more minion soak because of how those Web Weavers have brought all the waves onto the red side. They've been able to soak more minions so far in the game. And Jaina with 5.2k, so that's a Valkyrie, which hasn't quite connected. Now Joanna steps in. They really want to get a kill. There's massive slows onto Diablo. Electric's trying to catch onto him, but no, they aren't able to secure that. But Joanna's maybe stepped in pretty far. Malthael gets turned over, having been slammed into the wall, but Diablo with a minus healing grenade. Got to be careful here. Will step away for now, and that means that no kills have been traded in that fight, but a lot of heroics.
Yeah, we still have the nano boost available, as well as the last rites from Malthael, and of course the Apocalypse from Diablo being held by Frobius. It's giving them a little bit more space. Once again, Frobius taking control of the map. They've got this much more aggressive composition, and you sort of worry if you stand by any wall on this map that Diablo's going to slam you against it if you're not careful. So what are the red team going to do? They're positioning, they're sniffing out the turn-ins. So we see that 12 gems has now gone in for Frobius, whereas on the side of our position squad.
Yeah, 23 from Ana goes in and secures that Web Weaver. So now second Web Weaver phase does go over to outer position squad, but the Siege Giants are in the bot lane. The bot lane is also very far pushed in as well. So frankly, the blue team can ignore that bot lane and it won't do anything to them. But the top and the mid lanes are where the trouble is going to be at. That's a lovely sleep up from Ana onto Hat. And in fact, they may even take down the mech. No, they forced a bomb though. Joanna Ironskin, will she be able to walk away from that bomb? Her Ironskin has been broken though, so maybe she's in a bit of trouble. A lot of damage comes out from the pew 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 from the D.Va. There's the sleep though. In response, sets up Jaina to get a cone of cold. And a bit of stacks for Jaina, but more importantly, a bit of damage.
Yeah, and they're slowly getting the space back that they lost from that first Web Weaver phase, but are they going to be able to do any damage of their own? You know, these outer structures are weakened, but not falling yet. But the jam gets pulled in on the Valkyrie, and the Unstoppable being put out to try and stop any sort of follow-up CC, but they're falling lower and lower. The Tracer's pulled off, and the Malthael goes in, gets nano boosted as well with the last rides, gets the kill onto Sonny. Beautiful stuff here from Murmur, getting that crucial second kill, maybe getting them the space that they need to get these outer structures after this Web Weaver phase.
Yeah, they will get the well. They'll get the well very quickly. The bottom Web Weaver is still alive, but it's brought with it a snowballed wave. A lot of little spiders there, and that'll be a lot of jemmies. But more importantly, look how exposed Hat is. In comes the Fen, tries to catch onto Hat, bang! Down goes the D.Va, both the mech and the pilot, and Jaina's now going to step up. Oh, but Diablo wants to step up, tries to catch onto Jaina. Zakatsu very low, 22 gems on the deck. I think Joanna will be able to pick them up. Now there's a fight continuing though. The Duke of Wellington here chasing onto Diablo, slowing Jam's Stukov. But that's a lovely silence that comes out from Jam. They want to chase for more. Sidonian's Archon has faded, so they won't be able to chase too relentlessly, but they have got the 13, and they did get the Jaina kill.
Yeah, and they have enough gems now for a turn-in, so everybody's going to be happy, and the Web Weavers are going to be coming down and pushing out these lanes once again. You know, they still have their 3 forts on the side of for Frobius, so they're going to look to try and open up these lanes a bit more, get the XP as well. They're now slightly ahead, and trying to push out here to get these 2 outer forts will be the goal of this turn-in.
Yes, it will. Diablo goes in, catches onto Ana. Lovely medallion, gets Ana away. There comes the sleep. Now Joanna's trying to flank. They want to force this fight, but no, the door's been shut by Sidonian. And everyone boxed in a pen like the Zerglings that they are.
Of course, if you don't have a wall to bang against with Diablo, you can always make one with Force Wall. And that could well be the strategy they have going into the later stages of this game. Now, they've pushed down this outer fort. It's quite healthy still, this Web Weaver, but they're going to rotate to mid lane instead. They're not taking their chances being over on the other side of the map too much.
Yeah, so far the mid Web Weaver has been cleared fairly safely by the red team, but of course the bot lane still very heavy wave pushing, and of course Joanna's still in the top trying to deal with that top Web Weaver. It means that they can't step up on the bottom because Diablo will go in and Joanna won't be there to peel for them. Look at Sunny there waiting in the wings, thinking about going for Ana. Doesn't quite go for it just yet, but this Web Weaver is still healthy. Joanna needs to get down here and start helping to clear. That's asleep onto Diablo. Joanna marches in. They want to take this fight. The Web Weaver's been cleared immediately. Sidonia, the Valkyrie this time onto the D.Va, but she has the bomb available. Doesn't use it. Hat bursts away with the booster. The Duke of Wellington, though, chasing the Diablo to slow him. And for now, they won't get any more than that.
Yeah, there was a lot of heroics popped there for the side of out of position squad, but they just never quite had someone low enough to pop the last rights. D.Va was able to escape and dodge the Blessed Shield as well, so nice play here from the D.Va. Now Jahanna's got 53 gems, almost 55, to have a whole turn-in by themselves. They may try and shed those gems as best as possible, and it looks like that's exactly what they're going to do, as both teams now picking up their bruiser camps.
Yep, and actually, you know what? XP is still fairly even. Now, here's the difference though. There is a 3-fort advantage. Oh, no time to talk about that because Diablo engages and the door's been shut onto their Kaiser. A lot of damage coming out, but that's a lot of heals from Anna. But the roots from Stukov, that's jam hot. Securing the kill onto Cassia. Now Diablo chases in, wants to find more. Malthael with the zoning damage, but no, they will be happy with that, just that one kill, and to deny the pay-in from the red team.
Yep, Jam is not only preserving her own teammates' health bars, but is taking down the enemies in the process of it. So they need to be careful. They are getting to these later stages where Anna will have a little bit more burst healing once she reaches that level 16, but they need to sort of get that impact. We see FIFA Frobius going for the boss play here, and the turn-in is going to be traded for that boss. The Out of Position squad have all of the gems right now. They have enough gems for another turn-in after this, just about. So they can defend this boss, push out the waves, and maybe get a kill of their own. They can get another turn-in wave, get the outer structures at that point. They have a way to come back into this game. They just need to be patient and find that opportunity.
Yeah, so one thing I was going to say before all of the boss stuff is that the 3-fort advantage will start gradually turning into an XP lead. So at this stage of the game, a 3-fort advantage probably turns into a level advantage of once every 1.5 or 2 minutes. So it starts becoming a sizable difference in XP as the game continues. But you'll just keep stacking up because, of course, there's still no forts for the red team.
Yeah, in fact, there's a 4,000 XP difference from just the passive here on Tomb of the Spider Queen. In our Nexus Rumble upper series, now we see their Kaiser clearing that wave, they're positioning around, they've got this top web weaver still, but it looks like they want to make a little bit of an aggressive play for this fort, maybe get a stun, but Hat has the Diva Bomb still. The red team positioning with Malthael still in the mid lane as well to soak out. FIFA Frobius expertly defending this top web weaver phase.
But this is where that second hand-in comes in that you were talking about, because now, of course, they can do it. But Diablo says no, because Altanis Anna with the sleep, absolutely devastating. The Diva Bomb, though, to zone. There's the apoc that everyone has to run away from. The Diva Bomb, absolutely crucial there in denying that engagement. And now maybe they can start thinking about turning the tides, as Jaina's taking a lot of damage, gets the stun from Valor, and she has to hide in the ice block. The silence is there from Jaina, but won't finish the job. The last strike doesn't finish off Tassadar either, though, but Diablo's falling very low to that Malthael damage. Murmur on the Malthael getting absolutely free real estate. Now Diva starts to run away on 3 health, and just a massive turnaround there, but still 1 kill for 1.
Yeah, the Sarlacc team fight, last fight was unable to be cast because of the massive shove. And the Reds get the Web Weaver phase. They're able to get the turn in. That's beautiful stuff here for them. That's going to give them a real in back into this game. But blue team are chasing down these 2 members that have been isolated by Forceful. Just missing. Sonic goes in aggressively onto their Kaiser. Electrix is caught out as well. He gets the fall. Hat is trying to put on damage on the backline at the same time. Their Kaiser getting chased down and down. FIFA Frobius just taking this aggression, saying, we don't mind taking this 4v4. We are coming to find you. We are coming to get you. We will split you, divide and conquer, and that's exactly what they've done, and that's going to give them a free cleanup of this Web Weaver phase.
Yeah, again, another hand in for the red team that they won't be able to get anything done with, because the picks here from the blue team are absolutely spot on. I really love that aggression. And as you said, 4v4, there was no material advantage from them. They just had an even fight, and yet they say, no, we know what our advantages are, and they pull the trigger, and they go in and immediately punish Joanna and Cassia.
Yeah, if you go back and watch that, they just used the environment around them to make sure they then had a 4v2 just by using the split of the environment. Now here, Dukatsu and Artanis almost catching out Diva here, and that's, it's a great loss to have lost that keep, and now they don't have a turn-in, whereas FIFA Frobius do have one, and they're approaching level 20 soon enough.
Yep, and that means that the red team has no time to get their camp done. They have to take a fight, but I don't think Frobius are going to allow that. So Out of Position squad taking the next best thing that they can, which is to take the siege camp of the bot lane. That'll take some of the pressure off their exposed core lane, and it'll get them a little bit of Merc XP. But yeah, look, that's now a 2-level lead for Frobius, and you can see where that comes from. A lot of it is from that passive, from having those structures taken earlier, and the structure advantage they have, and of course, the extra hero kills. 10 kills to 4.
Now, Out of Position Squad need to do something funky pretty soon. They get this Bruiser Camp. That's nice work from them. That's going to be able to delay this push a little bit from Frobius, but they need to make some sort of play. They are down a whole talent here with that level 20. The Twilight Archon is going to be incredibly hard to deal with, but the Valkyrie just missing out on Sidonian here. Very nicely dodged from them, and the roots coming out from Jam as well. But Out of Position Squad, now with these cooldowns sort of used, are they going to be able to try and find an opportunity?
They might not be able to. I don't know what our position squad can do here. They've got to give this mid keep, but that's an APOC combo, but dodged by the ice block of Dekatsu. Beautiful. Maybe they can punish the Diablo here. Sunny's come a long way in for that, but they've got 9,000 health, and Malthael, who went in the backline, has been punished while Diablo walks away, and that's going to be possibly all she wrote as Diablo steps up, wants to catch on to Cassie, who's on 200 HP. There's the Hellgate out to safety, and the Diva Bomb to zone, and they're going to be happy just waiting for these Web Weavers to push on core.
Frobius were thirsty for this. They wanted revenge on the loss that they incurred earlier on in Season 13. This is exactly what they want to do. They wanted to show their stuff, and that's what they're doing. They're pressuring on the core now, 90% as it falls lower and lower. Our Position Squad trying desperately to defend it, and health bars are falling low, but the whole of the damage section is sort of being focused by Diva on their side, and Frobius is just able to get free damage, and this looks like GG. Frobius take the third week on the Nexus Rumble Upper Series.
And a 2-0 with that. Absolutely incredible performance from Frobius, who, yes, secure themselves yet another week at the top spot of the Nexus Rumble. And here it was really personal. Here they really wanted to ensure they got that victory, to prove their dominance over their Division 2 rivals. And they have done that in style with a fantastic performance there. I mean, a quick analysis. I mean, Out of Position Squad, they looked really strong as well, definitely.
Yeah, they absolutely did. I think they just need to sort of cross the T's and dot the I's a little bit on some opportunities, and it just sort of, there were so many times in both games tonight where the team fight could have just gone the other way if only like one little bit of damage had gone through, something like that, and the whole team fight would have been turned around and the momentum would have been gone the other way. But really well played from Frobius, finding those opportunities, making those opportunities to be able to have those sort of team fights that went their way, even when perhaps Web Weavers were turned in or other things had quite gone wrong for them already. So well played from them.
Yeah, absolutely. And revenge is a dish best served in the Rumble, as they say. Apparently now. So good games, well played to Frobius. Brilliant performance from them again, and they are going to be going through to next week's Nexus Rumble as well, when we will see them again. So if you want to go up against Frobius and challenge them for that, or if you want to challenge for the lower bracket as well, then you can do that by typing what, Transparent?
Rumble into the chat. I've just done it for you, so you'll see a link there to see what is the Rumble all about, and I've also posted the link for the sign up. So if your team can take down Frobius, if you want to even have a go, even if you're from Division 4, Divisions 1 to 4 are welcome here in the Upper Rumble. So if you think you can take them down, take that link to the Google form, put your team name in, put your availability in for next Sunday, and we'll be happy to see you here taking on Frobius, as our current champions are doing very well here, and they're showing their stuff, but I want to see them have a struggle.
Somebody's got to take their food away at some point, eventually. So eventually. Could it be you? It could be. So on that bombshell, I think it might be time to end tonight's show. Any final thoughts, Transparent?
Well, thank you everybody for tuning in. We've had a great time tonight, but we do have Farum and Ara and Frobius staying on for another week. But yeah, please tune in next week at 19:30 CST, and we'll be here with good fun on Sunday.
Okay, thank you everybody for watching, and tune in once again next week.
That Q reset, and Sylvanas is going to go down. That's a nice clean kill here for Farum and Ara.
Absolutely beautifully executed. Is in, and that's a massive amount of damage onto Joanna on the Lord T. Stukov goes down first, though. Joanna, I think, will be next to fall with no healer available, and Lord T is the next to fall. So it's 2 kills for nothing in favor of Homodera. Oh, I've spoken too soon. There goes Mouth, making it 2 for 1. But 3 for 1 with a juicy tether from Kazim, who's down now dancing on 150 HP, but Chromie gets stunned there by the maid, brought back into the Mephisto damage, and Muffin Trader goes down as well. So it's 4 kills for 1 in favor of the incumbent champions here. Lord T now has to retreat to try and deal with Sergeant Hater on the May, but gets caught in the avalanche instead. Maiev throws out the zoning spirit there, but Stukov is completely caught out, and Malfurion's surely going to deliver the finishing blow. So Stukov goes down, and they want to chase for more.
Yeah, the rest of the red team tried to chase down Rexar, but he looks like he's getting away nicely. This beautiful time stop here from the Chromie enables the rest of the team to be able to get out. The Gaslow tries to do the combo onto Sergeant Hater, but he is going to get away with 25%. Meanwhile, Maiev is just cleaning up everywhere else. And this is another 3 kills for the side of Thuram and Error.
To go in, but Maev's waiting in the wings for the backliners. I don't think Gaslow can get his grab bomb off in time. There's the Warden's cage. Already Chromie's been melted. Stukov as well. The grab bomb, though, is